report you may be considering a Senate run. Is that true? Are you considering that?
Man, the internet's a crazy place.
But I think he's terrific. Scott Jennings. Where's Scott? Where are you, Scott?
I'm gonna be honest with you, I was not going to make this video until I really thought about it. Scott Jennings would win his Senate race in Kentucky, and it wouldn't even be close. I have been covering Scott Jennings before it was popular to talk about Scott Jennings. I have nearly every single funny Scott Jennings clip on my hard drive. That's how long I've been covering him. He has so much popularity. He is so good at his job. He would decimate any opponent in Kentucky. Let's dig into this.
Now, we have a man here that I don't know, but he's defending me all the time on CNN. And he defends me really well, but he can't go too far because if he goes too far, he'll get fired. I said, you're amazing. You can take it right to the edge. And he really does a good job. He's not allowed to go any further. He would be off, if he really went totally crazy, which he'd like to do. But I think he's terrific. Scott Jennings. Where's Scott? Where are you, Scott? Come here, Scott. This guy, really, I've watched him for years. I don't know him. But he likes Trump. Come here, Scott. Oh, CNN, this is the end of Scott. No, who cares? Don't worry, we'll take care of you, Scott. Scott Jennings, really great.
Thank you. Michigan. We were flying in here today, and I said, look at these farms. I got to get a farm in Michigan, because when you own as many libs as I do, you got to put a place to put them all. Thank you all very much.
So as you can see, Donald Trump likes Scott Jennings. That is the most important thing. If you want to win Kentucky, Donald Trump has to like you. In fact, Scott Jennings talks about that later in this video. But also, Elon Musk loves Scott Jennings. Joe Rogan loves Scott Jennings. Could you imagine a Joe Rogan podcast episode with Scott Jennings? That would blow up. He has so much backing in the media and so much love, he would win Kentucky so easily.
Right now, the biggest bright line, and you're going to see this argued for weeks, between the Republicans and the Democrats, other than immigration, which is huge, is on taxes. President Trump wants to cut them, the Democrats want to raise them, and the Republicans need to get behind the commander-in-chief and do it.
No. Democrats do not want to raise taxes.
Yes.
Democrats do not want to raise taxes. I just want to say that right.
Well, they want to raise taxes on rich people.
Well, on rich people. So
People with jobs.
so like your friends like Elon Musk and Donald Trump and all of those people.
What people? Give me an idea.
Like your friends, like Elon Musk. They are the ones.
Agree, my friend. But who else? I'm just trying to decide who.
Now, this is so critical. Again, I have been covering Scott Jennings for a very long time. I have every single Scott Jennings clip on this hard drive. Scott Jennings does not isolate the audience. He is bringing up a very classic Republican talking point. You want to tax the rich. You want to tax us all. Republicans have always said this, but for some reason, we are getting away from that talking point when Scott Jennings knows the younger crowd, they want to become successful. But if you want to become successful and you want to become a Democrat, you are going to get taxed. Scott Jennings knows how to ride that line of remembering everybody, talking about the older generation, talking about the younger generation, and not leaving anybody behind.
Saw a report you may be considering a Senate run. Is that true? Are you considering that?
Man, the internet's a crazy place. Long way until next May.
It is a long way, but that seat will be open when McConnell's out. So I was wondering if maybe you were throwing your hat in the ring, possibly.
Yeah, I read all this with some amusement, but again, it's a long way till next year. But I'll tell you this, I think Kentucky has benefited from having Republican senators for a long time. I think that seat ought to be in the hands, ultimately, of somebody who's going to help Donald Trump execute on the president's agenda. And frankly, I think politics is a team sport. The president's ahead of our team, and I think eventually he'll need to weigh in here on who he thinks is best to help him execute on his agenda. And just as a piece of analysis, whoever Donald Trump endorses will be the next senator from Kentucky.
So as you can see, even Scott Jennings is not totally denying he won't run for senator in Kentucky. And also he knows whoever Donald Trump likes or says, hey, go vote for that guy, that Republican will win in Kentucky. But this is also important. Charlie Kirk like Scott Jennings. Whether or not you like Charlie Kirk, he is responsible for getting that college and the younger crowd, getting them hyped up to vote, getting them hyped up to be a Republican. So if Charlie Kirk has your back, you also got Elon Musk to help with the funding. You got Joe Rogan to get him on his podcast. You got the backing of Donald Trump and that whole crew. Dude, Scott Jennings is going to win so easily. I mean, very easily.
On the screen for all the viewers to see of you with your chicken. I don't know what this chicken's name is. Maybe you do.
Never name the chickens.
Oh, that's sad.
Well,
but seriously, is this realistic? Like, is this a realistic solution? Like, I mean, or is it a little bit out of touch with, I mean, you know, there's a lot of people who, you know, have no backyard to put a chicken in, for example.
That's true. Well, first of all, I would highly recommend this hobby to anybody. It's been the most fulfilling and worthwhile thing. I started with 6. I now have 35.
You have 35 chickens?
And I'm like the Pablo Escobar of my neighborhood.
Oh, my God.
It's outrageous the amount of eggs I get every single day. Not a problem at my house. My chickens are in a very nice, secluded backyard area. They're not interacting with any other infected animals. Well taken care of, well fed.
You're really defensive about
Now, this is very important. A lot of people overlook this. Scott Jennings is a true Southerner. Southerners hate fake Southerners. Think about Taylor Swift. She had her accent. Where did it go? Are you now like all LA? You're acting all Hollywood. Scott Jennings is on TV every single night, yet he's still raising chickens. He's still got his accent. He still shouts out Kentucky all the time. This is very important. He has relatability.
If you look at the arc of the Biden presidency, he was in really good shape until August of 2021. When Afghanistan happened, he went under 40. She went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the presidency. He's still there.
Why? I'll tell you why.
Because he ran and told us that the adults were back in charge, and that was the opposite.
Yeah, they
of
were
that.
because Donald Trump was a child.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else?
He's a
the fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
bullshit,
day.
Dude.
Time of day.
I'm sorry, but Donald Trump hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely he has his whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just.
Of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you, the political reality is that when they made that decision.
It doesn't matter. You don't admit that Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't admit it. You deny a man, Chief John Kelly, a Marine. You say he lied.
You're still campaigning.
You say he lied. It's not over. It'll never be over.
Now, this is very crucial. If you look back at the catalog of Scott Jennings, he has never changed. And the reason why this is very important, we know today when you look at how politicians change their narratives or they seem to change what they believe in, Scott Jennings has never changed in the context of politics. He has always challenged Afghanistan. He has always challenged Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. He has always defended Donald Trump when Donald Trump was not that popular. Again, you can go through his entire historical catalog on CNN. I am actually shocked he still has a job. He did all of this before he was super popular.
Wait a minute. You're not going to let me. You're not going to. It takes Maria 5 minutes to define what the Democratic brand is, and you don't let me respond to it after I show up on time on Christmas Eve. This is an insult that will not be forgotten, Kate. I promise you.
I just bought you 30 seconds just because I'm feeling
Maria,
the
she filibustered me. She filibustered me out of the conversation here.
Stop talking
okay,
and go.
well, go. It took Maria 5 minutes. Here's 10 seconds. Democrats are the party of uncommon nonsense. Republicans are the party of common sense. It's why our tent right now is full of such a wide ideological spectrum. People are flocking to the Republicans because we stand for common sense.
Yeah.
And Democrats have taken on all this uncommon fringe nonsense. And if they are in the toilet, my advice, flush away the fringe and the people who have drug you down there, because this is why Republicans won the election.
Now, Scott Jennings is also the master of the 80-20 policies. He knows what the 80% of Americans really like and what 20% of Americans don't like. This is why a lot of times on CNN, he even has Democrats laughing with him or Democrats agreeing with him because he knows common sense. He knows how to bring that into the conversation, and he knows how to drag in Democrats into his realm of reality. And I actually think as a senator, Twitter, we could use this. This Scott Jennings might be the connecting link we might need in Washington and for the country to have Democrats and Republicans work together. Could you imagine Scott Jennings debating or being on the Senate floor and bringing up these 80-20 policies to the world to make sure everyone knows you guys do not have common sense? 80% of Americans agree with this. Come on our side.
They're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors,
Picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners. We're not going to see them. It's just going to become even harder to solve the problem. It doesn't make sense to punish individuals and people when there is a broken system.
Look, I think if you came here illegally and you knowing.
All right, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have been looking for any reason to play that clip again. It's my favorite CNN clip as far as Scott Jennings and somebody else bringing up a pretty ridiculous point. But we could actually point this out, that Scott Jennings does let people talk. Even if they have a ridiculous point, Scott Jennings will let you speak for yourself and then he will respond, instead of always cutting people off like we see in today's dialogue, especially when it comes to politics. I think that is very valuable, and I think Scott Jennings is smart enough to know, just let the other person talk. If their point is not that great, people will decide for themselves. And let me tell you something, this clip did not go very well for this woman on the internet. It went very bad.
There's due process that exists in this country for everybody, and the fact that this man received no due process, it was effectively disappeared to a foreign country, a country which he came from, which he was basically got
It's
asylum.
not a foreign country. He lives there.
Excuse me, no, he does not live there.
He's a citizen of El Salvador.
Scott, excuse me, he got asylum in this country.
He's a citizen.
Scott,
does he have asylum?
Excuse me, let me finish.
No, he doesn't.
No, it's not that he. Sorry, it's not that he got asylum. He got a judge to say that he could not be.
Does he have
back.
a deportation order?
Excuse me, he could not be. Can you let me finish? He could not be. He could not be rendered back to El Salvador because he was at risk of being harmed in El Salvador. That is what a federal judge. That is what a federal judge.
By who? Who was he at risk of?
Excuse me. That was what a federal judge said. He could not be deported.
He could not be.
Who could he be at risk by? I don't know. But
a rival gang.
No. Excuse me, Scott. Excuse me. Stop. Do you really believe that this guy's an MS-13 member? Because
I've got two heads of state telling me that they believe it.
Oh, okay. Your heads of state. Okay. Barack Obama said that.
Now, when it comes to immigration or deportations, anything within that category, Scott Jennings is literally unmatched. He is like the John Jones. He is the Undertaker. He is the king on TV right now as far as going toe-to-toe within this debate. Scott Jennings has been talking about deportations. He's one of the only people to bring up marching orders, how, by the way, these illegal immigrants were supposed to leave already. He's been talking about this way before everybody else brought up, hey, they're supposed to be leaving already. I can play you guys the clips if you want. But Scott Jennings is absolutely unmatched when it comes to deportations. He's been talking about this way before we started to see all of the deportations under Donald Trump. Now, the last thing I want to say is this. I'm actually going to be a little critical of Scott Jennings here. I don't know if he has any religious background as far as possibly being a Christian. I've seen some clips that might suggest he is a Christian. If Scott Jennings happens to watch this clip, maybe he will let us know. But I've never seen a clip or really anywhere where he's been very public about his religion. In our cultural context, especially when it comes to the South, especially when it comes to Kentucky, that is still very important to have a moral standard as far as Christianity is concerned, God, the Bible, etc. So let me know what you guys think about all of this. I know this sounds like a complete joke. I hope this evidence is enough to let you know that Scott Jennings would win in Kentucky. Scott Jennings knows he would win in Kentucky. Let's just see what happens. Thank you guys for everything, and we'll see you all later. God bless.